Now let's discuss key glutamate pathways in the brain. There are about half a dozen specific glutaminergic pathways that are of particular relevance to psychopharmacology. And these are cortico-brainstem, cortico-striatal, hippocampal-striatal, thalamocortical, cortico-thalamic, cortico-cortical and cortico-cortical, both direct and indirect. Now let's discuss these in some detail one by one. The first one is cortico-brainstem glutamate pathway. It's a very important descending pathway and projects from cortical pyramidal neurons to brainstem neurotransmitter centers. And these include the raphe for serotonin, the ventral tegmental area, substantia nigra for dopamine, and locus coeruleus for norepinephrine. Now the direct innervation of monoamine neurons by these stimulate neurotransmitter release, whereas indirect innervation via GABA interneurons in the brainstem blocks neurotransmitter release. The second descending pathway is the cortico-striatal one, and it extends from pyramidal neurons to striatal complex. Interestingly, it is known as the cortico-striatal glutamate pathway when it projects to dorsal striatum, whereas it is known as cortico-accumbens glutamate pathway when it projects to specific area of ventral striatum, also known as nucleus accumbens. In either case, these descending glutamate pathway terminate on GABA neurons destined for a relay station in another part of the striatal complex called the globus pallidus. The third pathway is the hippocampal accumbens pathway, and as the name suggests, this projects from hippocampus to the nucleus accumbens. Interestingly, theories link this particular pathway to schizophrenia. These projections to the nucleus accumbens also terminate on GABA interneurons, that in turn projects to a relay station in globus pallidus. The next pathway is the thalamo-cortical pathway. This pathway brings information from the thalamus back into the cortex, often to process sensory information. The next pathway is the cortico-thalamic pathway. It projects directly back to the thalamus, where it may direct the manner in which the neurons react to sensory information. The next is the direct cortico-cortical glutamate pathway. It is a complex of many cortico-cortical glutamate pathways and are present within the cortex. Pyramidal neurons can excite each other within the cerebral cortex via direct synaptic input from their own neurotransmitter glutamate. And the last one is the indirect cortico-cortical glutamate pathway. In this, the pyramidal neurons can inhibit one another via indirect input, namely via interneurons that release GABA.